Good day. It is May the 21st, only 1 month away from summer. And today we're continuing Ruth 1, doing verses 6 through 10, and Proverbs 21. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Begin Ruth 1, starting at verse 6. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab that Yahweh had visited his people by giving them bread. 7. Therefore she went out from the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-law with her, and they went out the way to return to the land of Judah. 8. And Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. Yahweh deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. 9. Yahweh grant that your journey, that you may find rest, each in the house of her husband. So she kissed them and they lifted up their voices and wept. 10. And they said to her, Surely we will return with you to your people. Okay, we have Naomi and her two daughters-in-law. Naomi, her husband, and her two sons went to Moab from Israel because of a famine. They got married, the two sons. The husband, and the sons died, and now Naomi is parting with her daughters-in-law. Then she arose, this is verse 6, with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she heard in the country of Moab that Yahweh had visited his people by giving them bread. The famine in Israel, around Judah, probably seems like it lasted 10 years. That's from a previous verse. 7. Therefore she went out from the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-law with her, and they went to return to the land of Judah. So they got up, and they started going. 8. Then Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. Yahweh deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. This is a natural place for them to go to their mother's house or tent, because they were their daughters. If they were sons, they would go to the fathers. And she's blessing them in the name of Yahweh, because when you get married, you take up the husband's religion. 9. Yahweh grant that you may find rest, each in the house of her husband. In other words, she wants them to get remarried. So she kissed them, and they lifted up their voices and wept. Because it was a parting, 10. And they said to her, Surely we will return with you to your people. We want to go with you, is what they're saying. Proverbs 21. Oh, excuse me. Allergies. Pollen, stuff like that, I think. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the water courses. He turns it whithersoever he will. Think of a soaker hose in a garden. He moves it to water the parts of the garden he wants. The king, he turns the king's heart to whatever he wants. 2. Every way of man is right in his own eyes, but Yahweh weighs the hearts. He knows what's truly inside you. You can fool others, you can fool your family, you can fool yourself, but you can't fool God. 3. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to Yahweh than sacrifice. There's a saying that says it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. God doesn't work that way. 4. A hot look and a proud heart, the tillage of the wicked is sin. 5. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to the plenteous. To be diligent, you'll get. But everyone that is hasty, hastens only to want. Get rich quick schemes or really get poor quick schemes. 6. The getting of treasures by lying tongue is a vapor-driven to or fro. They that seek them seek death. Yeah, lies. Not good. 7. The violence of the wicked shall drag them away, because they refuse to do justly. 8. The way of a man is froward, that's rebellious, and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. 9. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than in the house in common with a contentious woman. Peace and quiet is better than fighting. 10. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. Evil has no friends. Just things they're going along with because it benefits them. 11. When the scorner is punished, the thoughtless, that is simple, not stupid, is made wise. Think Gomer Pyle. And when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. The thoughtless go, I ain't going to do that. 12. The righteous one considers the house of the wicked, overthrowing the wicked to their ruin. 13. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he shall cry out himself, but shall not be answered. If you ignore people in need, you will be ignored when you are in need, and eventually you will be in need. 14. A gift in secret pacifieth anger, and a present in the bosom strong wrath. This way of an apology, not bribing. 15. To do justly is joy to the righteous, but ruin to the workers of iniquity. 16. The man that strayeth out of the way of understanding, that is God's way, shall rest in the congregation of the shades, or to the dead. 17. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man, spends all his money on it. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. 18. The wicked is ransom for the righteous, and the faithless cometh instead of the upright. 19. It's better to dwell in a desert land than with a contentious and fretful woman. Again, peace and quiet is better than fighting. 20. There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling for the wise, but a foolish man swalloweth it up. He uses it as soon as he gets it. 21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, prosperity, and honor. 22. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and bringeth down the stronghold wherein it trusteth. 23. Whoso keepeth his mouth and tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Less talk, less trouble. 24. A proud and haughty man, scorner is his name, even he that dealeth in overbearing pride. 25. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor. He wants, but he won't get off his butt and get it, or do the stuff needed to get it. 26. There's that coveteth greedy all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not. Generosity given out of love for God will be rewarded. 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with the proceeds of wickedness? Wicked, what they're doing is like robbing a bank and then giving it to a church or charity. Yeah, it's abomination. You're doing evil and you're asking for a favor from God. 28. A false witness shall perish, but the man that obeyeth shall speak unchallenged. 29. A wicked man hardeneth his face, but as for the upright, he looketh well to his way. 30. There is no the wicked man ignores those in need, but the upright takes care of it. 30. There's no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against God, against Yahweh. Can't be God. And 31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but the victory is of Yahweh. You prepare for battle, but the victory is of God. I hope you're blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.